Hey everybody!
Hi guys!
We just got back from seeing the new remake. It's the remake of the adaptation of the book by Stephen King, which has been done before on television with Tim Curry. Which
I grew up with and I loved.
Let's talk about what the movie's about real quick.
Yes.
If you don't know, it's about some kids like 12 or around 13, 12, 13, 14, around there, growing up in a small town called Derry, which I believe is in Maine.
Derry, Maine.
And they start getting harassed by a clown monster.
And we're not going to go into the specifics or anything because we don't want to spoil anything for you. But yeah, so it's basically harassing these children, killing them.
It's been a lot of missing kids have been in this town, and it's because of this monster creature that is usually disguised as a clown called Pennywise, the dancing clown.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was made in 1990 originally, and now it's been remade. But the 1990 one
takes place in the 60s.
Well, the first half does.
Right. Well, it's a flashback. It's a flashback film.
It was a 2-part miniseries.
Right.
And in the first part, they were kids.
Well, it starts off with them as adults, and then it flashes back to them being kids.
It flashes back to them being kids, and then like the first half of the movie is them being kids.
Right.
And then the second half, they have to deal with the clown again.
And then they come back and interact with them. Yeah.
So, and we're kind of going to compare the two a lot.
Yeah, so I guess this is going to be spoiler heavy. So
yeah, as we talk about it.
Preparation, it's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So, I don't know, how do you want to start? Because she's a big fan of the original.
I'm a huge fan of it. I mean, I understand that it's a hokey TV film, but I love it. And when I was a child, the clown scared me, obviously. I couldn't, I had a hard time showering for a while because of that one shower scene with the clown coming up from the drain. Yeah, I'm very attached to it. And
to the original. And I was, let's see, this was like 1990.
Well, I was 5 when this came out, so I was watching.
Yeah, and I was like 15 then.
Yeah.
So, is that right? Yeah. So, I guess, I don't know. I don't remember if I saw it originally. I feel like I did, but I just don't. I didn't get attached to it. But I've watched it a million times because you watched it a million times, and I enjoy it. But the original, but a lot of the acting and some of there are parts that are just too corny. This was a TV movie.
Yes. It was.
A network TV movie made in 1990.
We will get into, though, I mean, I love Tim Curry's portrayal of Pennywise the Clown. I think he did it amazingly. He is genuinely creepy. Genuinely.
And Tim Curry's always awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really have a fear of clowns.
Neither do I.
And I should say that from the beginning. I don't really. I'm not saying they can't make them creepy, you know, and I can definitely get the creepiness.
But I genuinely remember
Curry,
watching this film and being creeped out by him.
But I'm not as freaked out by him as everybody else. I'm kind of like, I know it's Tim Curry and everything.
Yeah.
But you know, I grew up with the Bozo Show.
Okay, yeah.
So clowns were not like a bad thing to me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was just before that whole deal, where everybody was scared of clowns.
A lot of people my age are freaked out by clowns.
Yeah, and that started. I think that started like with your age. Yeah,
it started with it.
Okay, so you think it started with this movie?
I think so. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I remember going to a slumber party and the other kids would not refuse to watch it, and I just wanted to stay there and watch it. They refused to watch it, and so my friend and I, we just stayed there and watched it, you know, and they went into the other room and just played silly games and we watched it. But we were little. But yeah, I mean, so obviously, you know, just to create some foundation for the review of the new one. So
you went into the new one with very, very ready to be judgmental, didn't you?
Right, yes I did. Because I saw a preview for the new one at a movie that we saw previously.
I was going to review and I never got around to reviewing it, but we saw Annabelle Yeah,
which was really good, by the way.
The creation, and we loved it.
Yes.
I never got around to reviewing it.
So good. But we saw the preview for the new It, and I was just so disappointed. Disappointed in the preview with the portrayal of the new Pennywise.
The clown.
The clown.
Yeah.
He was just not freaky. I kept telling people, like, he sounds like Olaf from Frozen. Like, he's doing an Olaf voice. It was not freaky to me in any way, shape, or form. And so I was disappointed by that. I did like the imagery that I saw in the preview, which, you know, it was the scene where they had the little boy chasing after the boat, you know, the little boat.
But it was very much like the scene in the old...
Yeah. It's almost remake. Shot for shot. Yeah.
Almost. But yeah. But I like the little boy better in the original, just as being a more genuine little boy.
I think I'm just, it's the same for me, but yeah.
And that's just that one kid. In regards to the new movie, the kids were amazing.
Yeah, but let's not get to that yet.
I just don't want to get that confused.
So anyway.
That one kid I didn't like as much. The other kids I loved.
Right. So I went into this film really being, you know, pretty judgmental, I guess.
Apprehensive.
But also excited because I recognize that the old 90s one is an old 90s, you know, TV series. So of course it's a little bit hokey and stuff. So I recognize that.
Yeah, you get excited to see a big budget.
I had my hopes up for it. And so I guess I'll just give my generalized thought of it.
I will say this before you do.
Okay.
I kind of don't think anyone was gonna make you happy in regards to Pennywise, anybody, because
I don't know,
because it's Tim Curry, and Tim Curry is just amazing.
I don't know. I think they could have picked somebody that, I mean, I feel like I could have been happy with something different, you know.
Maybe.
I loved so this is my general thought of the new film. I loved the kids in this movie. The acting by these kids were amazing. They were so hilarious. They were so funny.
Fantastic. I didn't love the little boy who's very briefly in the movie.
Right.
Well, kind of. He kind of comes in, you know, as a trick.
I thought he was fine.
He was okay. He was okay. But the other kid, the main kids, wow.
They were so good.
A couple of them really in particular.
Yes, like Richie. I loved Richie. He was really good. Which he's the kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah, he was like the kind of the main. You could kind of say the main kid in Stranger Things.
What was your favorite scene? It was my favorite scene of him too. It was when
he said
at the end where he grabbed the bat.
Yeah, what did he say?
He's like, you know, first you had me come down these stairs.
Wait a minute, are we going to spoil this hilarious line? Oh man, this is such a good line. We don't want to spoil it.
Well, it's when he grabs the bat.
He has a line that is just like unforgettably awesome.
Yeah, you'll see.
But when you see him pick up that bat, and I knew it was coming out, here comes something cool.
Oh, and he delivered it so great.
Yeah, but this was the kid from Stranger Things, and the interesting thing, and it wasn't really a problem at all, but this kid, you know, in Stranger Things, it's hardcore 80s style.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and that's one reason I love Stranger Things is I was kind of that age at that time. And so I love watching Stranger Things. And this was kind of the same deal in the new movie. It's not the 60s.
Yes,
it's the 80s.
In the original 1990 miniseries, it took place in the 60s. The flashback scenes with the kids that took place in the 60s. In the remake that they just did, it takes place in the 80s. And the whole movie takes place in the 80s.
Yeah, because they don't get into the adult stuff.
Right, not yet.
That's like for the next film.
Because they ended
sequel.
This film at saying Chapter 1.
Yeah, so that was Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, so.
But this one is also in the 80s, very much like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, Ricky Tozier, and is it Richie or Ricky?
Richie.
Oh, okay, I always think it's Ricky.
It's Richie.
Richie Tozier, who's the comedic one who grows up to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And
which I don't know if they're going to do that in the new one.
He did on the old one, and we haven't read the book. We should say we haven't read the book.
Right. Yeah.
But he was fantastic. He was Seth Green played him in the old one.
Which we like Seth Green.
I love Seth Green, but none of the jokes in the old one.
Yeah, they were just kind of.
They were just the most cringeworthy. And then when he becomes an adult and he's a professional comedian,
it was even worse.
The jokes were 10 million times worse.
And we like that actor too.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but Night Court. He was judge. He was the judge. I used to love that show. That used to be one of my shows.
Yeah,
and right now I'm going blank on the name of the main Harry Anderson. I think Harry Anderson. I think was his name, and he plays. In the original film, he plays the adult Richie. And horrible jokes. In this movie, we have only seen Kid Richie, but his jokes are fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, he's like...
it's more like natural kid wisecracking.
Yeah, well, especially the kids, all those kid movies that you've seen from the 80s that, they've got foul mouths or whatever.
Yeah, this is straight up like an 80s. This is like Monster Squad. There's even a scene like in Monster Squad where they're walking through the hallway. They're just all
There's a straight up Goonies scene with them riding their bikes. Like right next to Town Hall, I think, and that's exactly a Goonie thing, a Goonie scene.
A lot of stuff in the sewers is kind of like when they're in Goonies running around.
Oh, when they fall down the well, and they left one of them behind.
Yeah,
and they're like calling to what's his name? One of the boys was left behind, and they're calling to him, trying to get him to help them.
Was it not the bully?
Very much like Goonies. Well, the bully was up there, but with I forget the name of the character.
Well, anyway, a very, very Goonies-like scene, and but the other kid that was extra amazing, and we loved all the main kids.
The other kid that was extra amazing, and I forget the character's name.
I don't know this kid. I want to say, Eddie Spaghetti.
Eddie Spaghetti.
They didn't call him that in this one, did they? Eddie Spaghetti.
No, they didn't call him Spaghetti yet, but he was so good.
Phenomenal actor.
The intensity behind this little kid's eyes. He was so good.
None of them were that Broadway baby kind of acting.
No, which I was
which was so good.
Maybe slightly the younger kid, and maybe
the little boy that I didn't like. I didn't love him anyway.
Right, maybe slightly him.
A little hint of that, like too trained actory, but the main kids, they were awesome. Just like on Stranger Things. Well, one of the kids is from Stranger Things.
But Eddie Spaghetti,
fantastic,
man, he was great.
That kid is amazing. He's the one who, in the movie, he gets a broken arm and everything. So
slight spoilers, but not complete spoilers for you.
Just to help you identify, he'll be the one in the cast.
Yeah, he's the one with the asthma.
That one.
Problems and stuff.
With the mother that's overprotective. I didn't
miss. We don't get the battery acid line in this one.
Oh yeah,
if you like the battery acid, you slide. Yeah, I missed that one.
Line was. I knew that line wasn't going to be in there because I had watched some other reviews, but I was still kind of like waiting for it. I really wanted that line. I don't know. Other people think that line is dumb.
They did a few lines. I like it.
Yeah.
They did a few lines from it.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't remember what they were now though. It's been like an hour since we saw it, so I'm like fading on it.
What did you think of the bully kid in this? I thought he was excellent.
I thought he was really good.
They really amped it up and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I also liked the bully in the original.
The old one was good too, and it was a different style.
Right.
This was more like the Beavis and Butthead. Not they were like being stupid and everything, but the old one was like a 50s greaser type.
Yeah. And this one was. I mean, this one was I don't know. He was intensified a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
It was just a little, maybe just because we're not from the 50s, but it was a little more realistic.
Yeah.
It was more gritty 80s style.
Right, I guess so. Well, they had that punk aspect to it.
And we got to see his home life a little bit, and it just made it more real and more understandable.
Honestly, I was on the cop side.
His father is a cop.
Home life, man.
That guy was, but I think what they were showing.
that creates that reaction in the child.
I was not on that cop side, but I didn't like you don't like the guy either, what he's become from it, but.
Right.
And the other kids.
We're listening to the original It soundtrack right now.
No, we're not. That would be a copyright.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
There's also another little boy who. Well, let's talk about the girl, and I don't remember the names. Okay, I don't know this as well as you do, I don't pick up names as fast in movies.
The girl's name is Beverly Marsh.
Beverly, okay.
Now, I really liked the Beverly in this one. I really liked her. They took a slightly different turn with her in the way that she was a little more tough girl.
Well, she seemed a little bit like an older girl.
Yeah, she seemed a little bit older. But I really missed the innocent outlook, I guess, of the original Beverly. I think that the new Beverly is a better actress, but I do miss the.
I like the new one.
I did miss.
But I see what you're saying. But the old one, she seemed more like a little kid, and I know that's what you're saying. Yeah. But there were parts of her story that were kind of, I feel like, left out. I haven't read the book.
I mean, they kind of were trying to show you that she was being molested by her father in the 90s one, but they didn't go as far as
it's just
they implied it or that he was kind of like sleazy.
More like he was. Yeah, the new one, I think she's been through it already a lot.
Yeah.
The old one, it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if something's going on. Well,
there were some moments actually in the 90s miniseries where he was actually like, kind of protective of her in a way.
It seemed like in the other one, maybe in the old one, maybe it was just like when he got drunk, he was bad.
Yeah.
And then when he wasn't drunk, he was just kind of normal.
Right.
Whereas in this one, there was a little of that, but it seemed more like he was just a real bad, like rapist father, you know.
But so yeah, that's
my thoughts. Girl in this
that's
one.
my thoughts on Beverly Marsh. So I missed a little bit of that innocence. And then, how did you feel about Stan?
Stan is the one.
Stan is
in the old one, he's the Boy Scout, right? Okay,
right.
Yeah.
The bird watcher.
In this one,
he's the bird watcher and all that stuff.
Okay,
yeah.
This one, because everybody's got their own fear. We'll talk about that later, but I feel like they could have shown more about him. Right. Besides finding out what he was afraid of, and he was dealing with, I think he was going to have a bar mitzvah coming up, and he was trying to learn that. And you saw his home life like once.
Yes,
you know?
He was a little less upfront in this one.
They didn't explore
although in the old one, he was in the background.
He was the least focused one. But
he's always been the least focused. But
I don't know. It seemed even less this time. But he's, I liked him.
I did too. I really liked him.
But I would forget that he was there, except for when he spoke.
Yeah, true. True. Mike is the one that I was talking about earlier. He is. He's the character who moved to Derry. Oh no, that's not Mike. Mike is the one whose dad was the farmer in this one.
Oh wait, he was having to put
which was really interesting because we didn't get that background story in the 90s one.
Yeah, we didn't get in. Did we get any background in the old one?
Well, in the old one, it's once again it's a flashback type film. So he is heading the whole story.
Yeah, he's telling the story.
He's telling the story. He's basically like the narrator in the 90s one, and he's kind of like the touchdown. And
he's the one who brings everybody together. You'd almost think he was the leader of the group in the old one.
To fight it again, So I've always had an attachment to that character because
and he was great in this one, but really, in the old one, because you see him as adult first, and he's sort of telling the story.
There's more of an attachment to him,
even though you don't get his backstory much.
Right.
But I did like the way we saw his backstory
in this one.
It was very dark. I mean,
it was dark,
and not in.
Excuse me.
I mean, it wasn't like. Because, the other ones are like being abused and stuff, and you could almost say he is in a way, but it's not really.
No, he's just...
he's being forced to kill animals.
Yeah, because he's on a farm. He's living on a farm.
I think it's like a... Thing. Well, it's like a meat plant type thing. I don't know. But he's having to kill these sheep.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. I thought it was horrible. I know it's not the same like...
Spoiler alert. I mean, Beverly is the least afraid of this clown, and it's because she's dealt with the most... She's dealt with the most stuff in her day. You know
and she's gone through all that, and meanwhile everybody at school calls her a slut.
Right. So she's dealt with a lot. So she's not as afraid of this clown. In this one, in the new one, or in the old one, she's more apt to be afraid of the clown. But I can't say the old Beverly wasn't great.
as far as the development and everything.
And you know what?
But the new one, they I don't know, they made more of a character out of her to me.
Yeah.
And she was one of the main focuses in the new one.
They made more of a character out of everybody.
I guess that's true.
In the new one, you know, they gave them I don't know. They seemed more real in this one and less kind of
yeah,
flat,
it was the kids were fantastic, put it that way. But we forgot.
We missed one. The main one.
No, there's two. There's two that are in love with Beverly.
Yeah, so we have Bill, and we have...
Who's the new kid, Bill?
No, Bill is...
Bill is the one that...
The main one.
With the older brother of the little boy.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's sort of the main kid, although he's the main kid. I was going to say, in this movie, it's a little more equal than the old one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At least for a few of them.
That's true, yeah. But I liked him. I mean, he was...
He was great.
The original actor in the 90s one, he was a little hokey. He's always been a kind of a hokey actor to me.
Jonathan Brandis?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's Jonathan Brandis was his name. The late...
But I think a lot of that had to do with direction and like freeze frame moments and things like that. He's
a popular actor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I thought he was fine. I don't know. There was some cheesy stuff in the old movie for sure.
But in the new one, he was really good.
Yeah, he's great.
And then I don't remember the character's name for.
That one was Mike or Ben? No, wait, Mike.
Ben.
Okay.
Ben.
You just said Ben was the main one.
No, he's Bill. Bill is the main one.
Oh, Bill.
Billy is the main one.
Okay, I do get the names confused. Okay, so Ben was the new kid.
Ben is the new kid.
And he's sort of. Back in the 80s, there was always the token chubby kid.
Right.
And so,
Although what's funny is they didn't put him in the Hawaiian shirts. They put
Richie.
They put Richie in the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, because he was like the comedian.
Yeah.
And he was really good. I thought he was fine.
I thought he was great. Yeah. He was.
The old one, I liked the old one too. I wouldn't put one above the other.
So anyway. Yeah, the kids were fantastic. The little adults in this film, the father...
Little adults? No.
The small amount of adults in this film. I didn't like the father of...
Beverly?
No, I liked the father of Beverly. He was good. Although I like the father of the original Beverly more. He was...
Well, because we did, this one was a straight up, we know what this one's doing for sure.
This one was a great actor, but the father of Bill, I did not like in this one. He was very Broadway-ish. He was very much a Broadway actor.
I didn't pay too much attention
very
to
stagey.
that one.
But I mean, in the original film, he's not very prominent anyway. Whatever. You can't really compare that. Let's see. So anyway, I guess that brings us to Pennywise.
Yeah, Pennywise, which did we already talk about Pennywise?
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about.
Let's talk about we kind of talked about the acting already, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
what do you think about the acting?
I thought he was not. I didn't think he was creepy.
You didn't think one thing good about him?
I didn't think he was scary.
I thought he was genuinely trying.
I think that trying is one thing. If you're not doing it, then forget it.
I just want to say, I think he tried.
But you know what? That doesn't all have to do with him, because I gotta say, there were moments where he was creepy, and when they didn't use CGI.
When did they not? That's like mostly.
Well, I mean, prominently use CGI. Like, there was this one moment where I actually enjoyed his portrayal of Pennywise, and it was the moment where they stuck him in the TV show. And you guys will see this, I think they showed in a preview too, but they stick him in like an old 80s TV show, and he's like controlling everybody and telling
when they're telling the bully to kill them all. Kill
them all. That was really good.
That was a great
cool
scene.
Every other scene that they used with this clown was totally CGI. From the first moment we see him, when he chops off
the little boy's arm. He's all Anakin Skywalker.
And he pulls him in, and like, it's just ridiculous and stupid. I hated it. I hate it.
Well, so, you prefer not seeing things like that. I
don't want to see that stuff. It's not scary.
Because it's
not scary. Don't get me wrong. I like gore, but that stuff is not.
If you have to imagine it, you can make it as.
I would much rather have some clown standing in the back of the room with a balloon, looking all sinister,
and have them running at you like.
Then having I know what was that? They were doing these horrible little like movement things with the clown that was supposed to be scary. I don't know. It wasn't scary at all.
Hey, you know, it goes back to even though we like this movie a lot, we had similar issues with the scary stuff. Although I don't know, you might have found this more scary. The haunted house on Haunted Hill.
Okay.
It goes back to that stuff.
That for some reason creeps me out, and I don't know. I don't understand why, because it's the similar movement that they're going for, but.
Can we just say that CGI does not work in horror?
It doesn't. Stop using it. Just stop.
Even in some of the horror movies we really love.
Like, okay,
you can use it in subtle ways where if it's just to enhance an effect, but if you have CGI creatures, everybody knows they're CGI, so you know they're not there, so you're not really finding it scary.
There was hardly any CGI in The Conjuring, and it was amazing.
But Conjuring 2 had like
Conjuring
that CGI character.
Had a few CGI characters, and while I love The Conjuring 2 just because it's in England and I love the Warrens and the story and everything, there are those moments with the Slender Man and things like that.
Not Slender Man, but yeah, Crooked Man.
Crooked Man. It's just not creepy, you know what I mean? It takes you out of the film. I don't want, just stop, guys. Stop.
Sometimes, like in a movie that is so good like The Conjuring, and this movie was super good too.
Well,
but this one had way more CGI.
The Conjuring 2 is the one movie where I will overlook it just because it's that good.
Well, I just have to make an extra effort to put myself into the character's position to where I can find that creepy.
Right.
You know, I can do it, but it takes extra effort.
It bothers me when they advertise this film. They advertise this new It as a way creepier clown, and he's not.
Well, because it's trying too hard. It's
creepier.
They make him, for one thing, they make him look already creepy. What kid is going to be like, oh, a clown? You know, the old one that was
the
a little
old
bit more.
One, he looks like a regular clown. Some kid's probably going to walk up to him and say, "Give me some cotton candy," and that guy is going to push him into a van somewhere and
that makes for a creepier idea than something that you can tell right off the bat. He's got Nosferatu teeth.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say though, in the original 1990 film, they did use the gnarly
but
snaggle teeth.
Initially he's normal teeth.
He initially has normal teeth, and then they come out, and oh my god, Tim Curry does this really freaky move with his he just opens his mouth and it's creepy. Also, some of the delivery of his lines were freaky. What was that one line?
The floating? They all float?
Oh yes,
yeah,
they float. The way he said that, it was almost like mildly sexual and creepy.
And from Tim Curry, that's
it was freaky. Okay, and this guy over here is talking. Olaf the clown, the dancing clown. You are not creepy at all. Okay.
Well, he looks like a monster, but at the same, I just don't. Who's gonna? You're not gonna lure in kids that way. That's no way to lure kids.
Okay.
You gotta get a puppy. You gotta get lollipops. And, the guy's got Nosferatu teeth, so. There's no way.
I don't know. So basically,
you're starting off in the sewer. You're already
they were in the sewer. I thought it was really I thought it was really cool when they took us to this haunted house thing, and maybe that's more in the book.
That was
the haunted house thing might be more of a book aspect that we're not aware of, but I really enjoyed that, and I liked all the interactions that the kids had with each other. But then when the clown came out, I was laughing. I was laughing in the theater, and I'll tell you what. There were no reactions in that theater. No reactions. Nobody was jumping.
Well, you know what?
Nobody was scared at all, okay?
General consensus about this movie, because I don't want you thinking we're saying this is a bad movie. The general consensus is what we're about to say.
Yes.
And that is that it's a great and awesome movie.
Yes, it is a great movie.
But the clown isn't good.
The clown is not good.
And it's, it's nothing against the actor. It's just...
though. It's about the clown. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if in a perfect world...
This one's more about the kids.
In a perfect world, not discounting the portrayal of the kids in the original, because my heart still loves them, okay? And I know that their acting isn't as good in some cases, but in a perfect world, I would take the kids and most of the story of the new one and put it with Tim Curry's portrayal of the clown and put it together, and you got a perfect movie, okay? There you go. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. The thing, like, and you were talking about the teeth, and I know what you were about to say.
The teeth. Okay, so in the original 1990 version, he's got monster teeth. He's got monster teeth. Just
one row of
just straight up teeth, but they're
fangs. They're fangs.
Right. In this one, he opens up his mouth, and he's got like 6,000 rows of sharp teeth, and sure, of course, that's gonna chomp down on somebody.
It's like a Sarlacc pit kind of a mouth. But here's the thing, and because I appreciated that more than you did. The reason is because this creature is supposed to be sort of an alien type creature.
Right, I know, but it was still creepier in the original. I know he's supposed to be an alien. I know he's supposed to be like a demonic alien, interdimensional alien creature. But still, he was still creepier in the original.
The original was kind of like Halloween Store. If I was going to say anything bad about the original clown, it's kind of Halloween Store-ish.
Yes.
And that's creepy when he's not in monster mode, but then when he goes into monster mode, he's just got like I don't know.
Okay.
If you compare it, and I know that it's a lot of CGI.
If you don't want to go all the way to the original, then dress him up like a normal clown. Don't put on such a sinister look on his face. Just make him a normal clown and stick him in the corner with shadows and stuff, and don't use CGI, and then you'll have a much better clown.
Like, I feel like CGI, you can use it in small ways. And like the teeth things, a lot of times when I see a monster movie and they decide, okay, we're gonna have him open his mouth real big with CGI and a bunch of teeth, usually it looks terrible. Right. I didn't feel like it looked as terrible here. I did. The first shot wasn't that good.
Okay.
But like later on when they did it again and you really saw inside the mouth, I thought it looked a little better. But it really sent home the message to me that this was more of a sci-fi creature than a horror creature. And I know it's supposed to be a horror movie, but it's also a sci-fi horror.
I understand that, and I love sci-fi.
Well, that's why I'm able to take this clown more than you.
No.
2 reasons. One, I never was too creeped out by the original, and the other, I'm taking it as a sci-fi monster, and I can accept it better.
I still found myself laughing when the clown was heading towards me in the theater. Okay. Whether he's a sci-fi monster or he's a horror monster, he's not a monster because he's not scary. Okay, so
the old one makes me laugh too. But I know you found the old one scary.
Yes.
I didn't. I don't.
I don't now because I watched it and now I'm like, oh, Tim Curry.
But I do. I can see creepy elements of the old one, and the new one. The creepy elements are just too, like, obviously trying to be creepy. It's like we're gonna let's give them these teeth because those are creepy. Let's give them this because that's creepy.
Though? There was even a sad they were even trying to go for another jump scare very early on.
Yeah, it's a lot of jump scares.
Very early on in the movie, they were trying to do a jump scare and it didn't work at all. And it was actually subtle, and you would think that it would work on some chicks, but it didn't. Little. Oh, God, what's the little boy's name? The little boy.
Yeah, the little boy. What? Where he jumps out of the sewer?
Yeah.
Or
No. The little boy. What's the little boy's name?
I don't know. I'm not good with the names.
Oh my God.
The one that dies, that gets his arm taken.
Yes.
What about him?
It's killing me because I don't remember.
It's a little brother. We got it.
I want to know his name.
He's Rinko Boy. What about him? Just say what about him. We can look out later.
Oh God. Okay. So the little boy is
Georgie.
Georgie. God, thank you.
Big deal.
Georgie.
Okay, Georgie. What? What about Georgie?
Georgie is rummaging around trying to find the sealant for the for his boat. And
was there a jump scare?
Yeah, there was a jump scare because he was rummaging around, and then Bill turns on the walkie-talkie, and it was obviously supposed to be a jump scare because they did the sound very loud.
Oh, I didn't notice that was.
Yes, it was supposed to be a jump scare, but nobody in the theater jumped.
Good point. That there's a lot of jump scare attempts in this. It is jump scare heavy, and the old one was not really, right?
No,
it's more the old one is more psychological.
Right.
You don't have as much dialogue from the clown, which is part of what was creepy. The old one was the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did more creepy stuff that wasn't blatantly trying to be.
Exactly.
I mean, it was trying to be creepy, but it was, I don't know, it was more, with the clown, it was more genuine stuff. I don't know. But the new one is like jump scares and CGI and stuff like that. And if you're not into that, you're not going to like that.
There were a few really cool things I'd like to mention, though. The fact that he was on the old silver bike from the original,
things from the old movie,
1960s version of the bike. Yeah, that was very, very cool. That the character was still riding that, and then. Gosh, what else? Oh, there were the interesting things that I noticed, and I don't know if anybody else would notice, but I thought that the costume designer did a really cool job with making Beverly look a little Molly Ringwald-ish from Pretty in Pink, a little bit, And then what's the Patrick Dempsey looking one?
Oh,
we're going to insert pictures because I want you to see this comparison.
No, I don't have time to insert pictures tonight. So her birthday party is tomorrow, So
anyway, you take a look. Okay, when you're watching the movie, take a look and you'll notice.
She thought, like, you were thinking that some of the characters sort of looked like 80s actors.
Yes, 80s actors
in their styles.
in certain characters.
The way they were reacted and everything.
What's the character's name? The Boy Scout character.
I don't know. I haven't seen this movie a million times.
God.
Like I have, but I haven't learned the names.
The Boy Scout character.
Yeah, he's not a Boy Scout in the new one.
He's not a Boy Scout in the new one. Anyway, he's very Patrick Dempsey like his hair and everything.
I didn't pick up on that.
Totally like Patrick Dempsey in Can't Buy Me Love. Even his like outfit is like a polo shirt and everything. And then our little favorite one, Eddie. He had like almost the exact outfit of Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future.
I don't remember that. I didn't even notice that. But
the jeans, and then down to the watch. Like it was really cool.
That's cool. I have to see that.
It was really cool.
Next time we see this movie.
What else?
I got a battery light on, so.
Well, there were some really cool moments.
Yeah, no, you're right. You were talking about the music.
I wanted to mention the music. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. Of this new one. It did have some little hints of the old soundtrack, like just very slight hints. And there were moments where I recognized it, and that was really cool that it brought that back, that little feeling back to us.
So did we miss anything? Overall,
you guys
this is the old one.
Should go check this out.
That's on Blu-ray now. You can get it pretty affordably.
This is my old DVD that I've been watching for I don't know how long. I think this is a flip over, isn't this?
Yeah, you gotta flip that one for the adult story. I lent that to someone once, and she didn't realize that there was more to it on the other side of the disc. Which is, I mean, I understand that, but yeah.
Anyway, look at that creepo.
No, I love Tim Curry, so I do appreciate the old one. I didn't really have huge problems with the new one, but and this has been said before, the new one's just not as memorable.
You're still gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy going into this.
The kids are such good actors.
Just to see the kids. I mean, they are hilarious.
And all the 80s references.
Yeah, the 80s references.
Yeah, they're hilarious. The jokes.
Yeah. Just for that reason only. Just go see the movie.
I loved this movie, despite the fact that it wasn't scary to me.
I'm looking forward to part 2 to seeing the adults getting into
the adult story. Yeah, we're gonna miss the kids, but yeah. And something we didn't mention, they touch on each of these characters' fears.
Yes.
The clown, and so we see like hallucinations, sort of,
right?
Or the clown becoming these other creatures, which were, well, there were different things for each kid, and I don't know. I thought like, I mean, usually it was kind of zombie type stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe they kind of overdid that kind of thing.
They did.
But like the one kid was scared of. Like a painting of a woman.
Yeah.
That I know that when she came to life, it was very CGI.
It was horrible.
But I thought it was cool because I thought she was freaky looking.
I didn't like it.
I mean, I didn't love how obviously CGI it was, but I thought her design was freaky looking, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Eddie was a germaphobe.
I get the idea of having a painting that you're kind of creeped out by.
I get that.
And then that becomes to life.
Right, but they did that really cool in The Conjuring 2.
That's true. They did that. Yeah. I
mean, it was still slightly hokey in The Conjuring 2, but they still did a good job.
I didn't think that part was hokey. Yeah.
Was it Conjuring 2 or Conjuring 1? Anyway, they did it in The Conjuring.
This movie is. It's been said in other reviews. I've heard this, and it's totally true. That it's a great movie, but the clown is just not as good as the old one.
Yep. I'm glad that other people agree.
And I don't feel like that's anything against the actor, the new actor.
No,
I think it's just the way that the route they decided to take with the style of the look of the clown.
Right, and even with his voice.
Well, the old one talks a little bit like that to me. I think the old one talks kind of like that.
I think
maybe a little bit more manly.
Right.
Tim Curry, of all people, he had like more manly voice.
Tim Curry brings a more realistic...
He has like a lower voice.
He brings a realistic fear to that clown, because he also, like, besides him being like an alien thing, he could also be a creepy old man in the corner house smoking a cigar with like molesting a bunch of children. You know what I mean? Like, he still has that realistic,
I don't remember that
creepo
part.
aspect of just his like voice and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a creepy, realistic tone to him as well.
Oh yeah.
This one, it was just like, I don't know.
Hey, Georgie.
This one, I felt like I could have just like punched him in the face and been done with it. He's like wuss. He's a wuss.
Spoiler alert, towards the end of the film, the kids all kind of go off on him.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
And
I almost wish they did it even more hardcore.
Yeah.
They kind of, did that thing where they kind of, okay, we've got him, so they stop, and I'm like, don't stop.
It was like that scene.
Keep beating that clown until he's dust.
It was like that scene in Office Space when they were taking the bats to the coffee.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And lines that were said were amazing in that scene. Yeah. Oh, I loved that scene so much. So this is definitely a movie worth seeing.
Yeah, go check it out, and you come out with your own opinion about Pennywise.
You're gonna have a good time whether you like Pennywise or not.
Right. Let us know,
because of the acting.
Though. I want to know. Comment below and let us know if you liked Pennywise or not. Tell us if you have a fond affection for the original, like I do.
If you're scared of it or not.
Or if you think it was just stupid. But, just let us know.
I enjoy the old one, but it is super cheesy, and sometimes it's too cringy for me.
I fully admit that it's cheesy.
But it's Tim Curry.
Yeah.
That's the old one for me.
Exactly.
And you know what? The kid stuff in the old one is better than the adult stuff. I
agree.
And that'll probably happen with this too, just because these kids are amazing. And
I know.
I don't know how you're gonna top that, because they're so funny.
They might have a little bit of flashbacks with the kids in part 2, maybe.
That would help part 2, I think.
Probably.
But I'll be there for part 2. This is definitely go see this, guys. Just for the acting alone of the kids is just fantastic.
Yep.
Okay.
Go see.
So, and this is the old one. You should check it out. You'll probably find it cheesy if you've never watched it before. Yeah. But for like the generation that was little kids at this time, they're all terrified of this.
Mm-hmm. See if you can shower after watching this film. All right.
Okay, we'll see you next time.